The conservative editorial page of the Wall Street Journal, which has been very pro-immigration, said that Boehner's retreat, and that was the word they used, on immigration reform will hurt growth. I want to pick up on their editorial. The result of doing nothing will be a de facto amnesty in which 11 million illegal immigrants will continue to work using fake documents. Mr. Obama will look for ways to grant more of them legal status using executive power, and the GOP will look even more unwelcoming to minorities. We have asked all of you to send us questions, and we got one on Twitter from someone named Nando Somoza. Why can't the GOP move towards the center a little bit, let the Dems stay extreme? Laura, how do you answer Nando?
Well, let me talk about the Wall Street Journal first, and I'll get to that. The Wall Street Journal attacked in that editorial talk radio, and it's kind of the people rising up against this and John Boehner cowering. As far as I can tell, the Wall Street Journal is on the side of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Barack Obama, Pat Leahy, and La Raza. Talk radio, for the most part, is on the side of, yes, Heritage, probably other Tea Party-type groups, most Republican senators and congressmen, and I think the lion's share of the American people. So I'm going to frame that editorial from the Wall Street Journal. I think they should put down their dog-eared copy of Fountainhead and actually live in the real world where people's wages are flatlining. The middle
Strong
ground,
message to follow, folks.
The middle ground on immigration, I think, is enforcement. Right now, we're not really enforcing our laws uniformly. The president, as John Boehner just realized, apparently, is not trustworthy. He has a deferred action for 1.5 million people who are here illegally, just basically changing law with the stroke of a pen and allowing people to work here and stay here who are legally present. If you want to know why people don't have much trust in the rule of law today, applying evenly, is because of things like that. And apparently the Republicans don't have a problem with it.
Let me just say,
no, wait, because I think this is so interesting, because what we're seeing here is the split inside the Republican Party between two staunch conservatives. Let me finish. And I'd like you and George to explore this. George, how do you respond on this issue of whether immigration reform is good or bad for the country?
With three needs the country has. The welfare state needs its workforce replenished as the elderly retire, 10,000 baby boomers every day becoming eligible for Social Security and Medicare. Second, there's an intense global competition for human capital, and we're losing out on that. Third, to immigrate is to make an entrepreneurial act. It's to uproot yourself and perhaps your family and take a risk, and those are the kind of people I want more of.
Do we care about American workers at all? And their jobs and their wages and their dreams?
Laura, you're the one who's arguing the AFL-CIO argument, which is...
they're for it.
Oh, but they're for it with so many caveats they nullify.
But why not?
You're arguing,
why have borders?
You're arguing the zero-sum game that we have. When in the lives of our children and grandchildren, there are 500 million Americans, and they're all going to be working because we're going to have economic dynamism aided by immigration.
So the argument, though, however, it leads to why have borders at all? Why have a border? If it's just about people as widgets who come in and are workers without really a concern about assimilation, without concern about how it affects people in middle America. I mean, a lot of people who are in favor of this don't send their kids to public schools, are not affected by illegal immigration at all. But I would submit that there are people who are watching this show right now who are screaming at the top of their lungs saying, who in Washington is representing my interests? The labor shortage argument that Paul Ryan is making, that we have an impending labor shortage, I think transparently it is ridiculous to most people today. We don't have participation in the workforce as it is.
It's not a shortage. It's growth we want. We don't want to fit it.
Well, then we can talk about legal immigration, not illegal immigration.
You talk about the borders. As you know, 40% of all the people here illegally
Visa
overstayed their visas.
Why don't we crack down on that, then?
Go ahead and crack down, but that's still compatible.
We don't want to crack down on it. There's no will to enforce the border. There is no faith in this administration to do it, and the Republican elites and the Democrat elites agree, and the people are revolting across this country.
Deportation at a record level?
No, last year, the Obama administration, I think, did have higher areas.
That's right. I'm saying over 5 years of this administration, more people have been deported than were under George W. Bush over 8 years.
The Fox News poll from a few months ago showed that...
I'm not talking about a poll. I'm talking about numbers of deportation.
I said that, yes, over Bush's years especially. Yes, Obama did deport more.
I just want to say quickly that when Speaker Boehner comes out and says you can't trust the president, this is a man who's enforcing the law at a risk, at a cost to his own political constituency.
Against more than a million people
you are
who are here illegally
let me tell you,
by a stroke of a pen.
I spoke yesterday. I spoke to Jorge Ramos, the Hispanic newscaster, and he was saying, the reaction of the Hispanic community is you're deporting grandmothers and kids.
Oh, the emotional argument.
Terrible.
Okay, well, now it's the emotional argument. Facts don't matter.
It's not emotional. It's a fact.
Constitution, rule of law. Let's do legislation by emotion.
I'd rather have George argue with her.